And we are live. We're live again, the third day in a row. I cannot believe this is happening again after yesterday's 3-hour extravaganza. Time flew by, but that was wonderful. And Friday's debacle, where you were only able to text your startup ideas, that didn't really work. We are living and we are learning. So thank you for joining on your Sunday. We will wait until more people come and we will get this party started. But welcome. And as per usual, let's get that chat firing up. And we'll start bringing people on stage. But yeah, at 11 people, we're not bringing, that's just not enough people. We need to get to about 100 and we will start going. So feel free to share this link on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, in group chats. This is your opportunity to get feedback from not just me, but from everyone in the community. Yesterday was just chef's kiss. And yeah, put in the chat if you're here yesterday. It was just a really special place. So I don't know how long I will last today. 3 hours, definitely not. But we will definitely get 10, 15, 20 people up on stage, give feedback, get those creative juices flowing. And I'll have, I'm sipping on something. So today, what am I sipping on while we're waiting? For those of you who were here yesterday, I think I told you I went to the farmer's market and I picked up some summer honey. So that's wildflower honey that is from, I guess it's grown in the summer or harvested in the summer. So I just put hot water and some honey. I don't know if that's a thing, but hot water and some honey, and I'm enjoying it. It's really, really nice. I'm in the cabin, well, house in the woods, the mountain, so very cozy. Justin, appreciate you appreciating me. How do I invite people on stage? Um, well, you just have to send me a DM on Instagram. My Instagram is just my name, and I will try to bring you up on stage. So we got about 20 people. Again, let's wait until we got about 100 people. You can keep this on the background. You can chat on YouTube, whatever you'd like. But yes, let me see if I can figure out how to pin a comment. Let's see. To come up on stage. DM me on IG at Greg Eisenberg with your startup idea or business that you want growth ideas feedback on. Cool. Let's see if this works. And then I don't know if I'm allowed to pin it. Let's see. Boom, pinned. Boom, pin. Paolo, wow. Yes, Paolo, get up here. We're gonna bring you on. Paolo is a special 16-year-old man from the UK. Paolo, just use the same link. Actually, it's a different link, so you'll have to send me a message, and I will send you the link, and we will bring you on. We will bring you on. We will bring you on. So yeah, Paolo, just shoot me a note and a DM on IG. I'll see if I might be able to find you, Paolo. I might be able to find you. Boom, I sent you a DM. Okay, 46 people. We're about, oh, you got to go buy dumplings. I'll hop in later. Crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. All right, cool. So folks, we are starting to get quorum. I think you can start sending me your startup ideas on IG. And the way it works is I will send you a link if it seems like an interesting idea. And then I'll send you a link and then I'll basically bring you up on stage. So that's the process. And we'll bring you up on stage. You'll get some feedback. And the way it works, people who were not here yesterday, is for ideas that we really like. We call it a sip, SIP. We're gonna sip to your idea. That's an idea that's got legs. Sip, sip. But if we don't like your idea, it's what we call a spit. So we spit on that idea. We don't think you should do that idea, and it's not a mean thing, you know. It's really a thing that we just think that you're a smart person, and for such a smart person, maybe you could be focused on something else. All right, Paolo. I'm gonna, yeah, just sent you something. Yeah, your alt account. Okay, let me see what I got. Okay, I'm starting to get DMs. I'm starting to get DMs, which is nice. Okay, so bear with me. Okay, Paolo, I just sent you. Okay, wow, we're getting a lot. We're getting a lot. Okay. Garth, I just sent you a link. Joey, I just sent you a link. Patty, I just sent you a link. We'll start with that. So check your IGs. I sent you a DM. There'll be a link. Drink beer. I'm drinking tea right now. I mean, you can't even call it tea. It's just honey and water. Honey water. What is everyone drinking here? Put in the chat while we're getting quorum. And while you're sharing this, are you sharing this? Are you really, really sharing this? Share this with your friends because sharing is caring. Sharing is indeed caring. Don't you want your friends to see you up on stage? Plus, the more the merrier. The more the merrier. We don't want to safeguard this stuff. I think it's only fair that we let everyone in. Drinking green tea. Okay. Okay. We love that. All right. Garth has entered the stage. Garth, what up?
Hey, Greg, how's it going, man?
Good. Where you calling from?
UK, just having a meal with my family. Didn't think you'd call me straight on. So.
You're the first person. You're escaping your family right now, which is
That's it. Kids' room.
kids' room. You
That's
wouldn't be the first. You wouldn't be the first dad to do it. So it's
Yeah,
understood.
I'm in
What's
trouble now. I
you're
was
in?
sipping a very small glass of red wine, but I haven't
Oh,
brought it with
okay.
me.
Okay, no worries. We believe you. I could see some. I could see some blush in your
Yeah.
cheeks. You know.
Let's we can keep it really quick and on point though, and
Let's
then
do it. What's on your mind?
So yeah, big fan of what you're doing. Thanks for having me on. I love the agencies you build, the way you brand them, the way you market them. I've got a video business called gdvideo.co.uk, and I've been doing it for 10 years. It's like a one-person video agency, all bespoke work. Done stuff for like Volvo, Autodesk, some Quorn, some big brands in the UK and US. but I'm looking to like productize, differentiate, streamline my video agency. So it's not really as much a startup idea. It's getting your take on how I could streamline and differentiate my video company and maybe create a similar thing that like you've got with some of your agencies. The problem I've got is like video is it's high-end video, so it's in person.
Right.
You know, that's the challenge. It's like, how do I scale this up? Because the area I live in the northwest of the UK, there's not much happening here, so it's challenging.
What's I'm gonna go to your website. What is the name of your website?
It's GD, so my initials got gdvideo.co.uk. And at the moment, it's literally just a Squarespace portfolio of some of the work.
All right, I'm gonna put you on blast. It's okay if I share your website?
Yeah, cool.
Cool. So here to tell your story, creators of authentic branded content, micro documentaries, and commercial films. First of all, these are like 3 different things. So I think what you're gonna have to do is figure out what is your angle and what are you gonna productize, and then what the price point's gonna be. It's interesting because what you're talking about, you know, you say it almost as a negative is like you do in person and like, you know, I think what you see in a lot of productized video agencies is they don't do in person. And so I actually see this as like your skill set of like bringing crews and like doing literal like Volvo commercials, which by the way is my dream. I drive a Volvo. Like this is what people want coming up, right? So the question to you is where, you know, these are all kind of different. Actually, you have a lot of like health and wellness. You have some auto here. Let's start with who do you think you have an unfair advantage with in terms of customer base?
So I've done lower down on the page, I've done a lot of outdoor sport documentaries, like original documentaries. The problem is there's not a lot of those brands don't have a lot of money for marketing, or they're using a lot of user generated content. My best client on there, who was the Def Leppard thing I did, is a company called Neve, who are like the Rolls Royce of audio recording equipment. And I also did a music production degree. So there's something around maybe like music technology brands. But they're randomly based where I live. They're ams-neve.com. They're my best client. I've got them on retainer. I do all their social content. And I'd like to sort of get another 10 of those clients, I guess. So I guess you could call them like a premium brand, technology type brand. The thing is, I'm just surrounded here by like boring businesses, which might not be a bad thing, but it doesn't lend itself to my skill set, which is like higher end production. I don't know. I guess, to be honest, I'm just a bit tired of going out and doing everything myself as well.
Yeah.
It's like I work with freelancers, so I don't hire anyone. I've got a freelance team, so I can send crews out, but then it's never quite as good as if I do it myself. So it's like, how do I, you know, is it more a case of I keep the bespoke video agency and try and, you know, teach other videographers how to grow a one-person business, or I don't know, do I help brands more with like a strategy as a productized service, then offer bespoke production on the back end?
Well, I'll tell you where I see the opportunity. And okay, where I see the opportunity is I don't see anyone owning documentaries for companies. Like, you use the word micro documentaries. I'm not sure if it's micro documentary but it's you know, micro documentaries or documentaries. If you can become the micro documentaries guy and you help companies create documentaries, every brand needs that because we're all trying to stand out, and video is how we're going to stand out. And when I hear the word documentary, like, what is it? It's basically just documenting a story. Is that right?
I would say so, yeah.
Like
I've done a lot of like branded
yeah.
content like that, more like, you know, storytelling, where like I did one for a big like music, they're like a ticketing platform in the local area. So we did a series of docs on like upcoming bands with big followings, you know, to help that. So it's like that branded association content and storytelling. But I would say there's a lot of people trying to do that.
Who's doing it? Who's the number one person doing that?
I just think every like cool studio is doing that. Like if you look at Stepped, STEPT in the US, and Farm League.
Okay, we're gonna pull them up because I think it's helpful for people just to understand. Stepped, like STEP. What was it?
STEPT.
.com maybe.
Not sure. Step Studios.
they're not
No.
that big if they don't own Step.com. All right, here we go. Cool.
A lot of commercial work as well.
This feels like commercials.
Yeah, but there'll probably be a section on like content.
But that's the thing is like no one. I haven't gone to a landing page that says like we do documentaries for like we do micro documentaries, like own something smaller.
Yeah, like a different phrase.
A different phrase, like own the smaller phrase. I talked about this yesterday with with boringmarketing.com. A lot of people did SEO, but no one owned boring marketing.
Yeah.
So I think you have to figure out what that is for you. Micro documentary seems to be really interesting to me. If you can put people on a productized service where it's like for $5,000 a month, I'm gonna give you one documentary, micro documentary. That's interesting.
That's interesting. And so, who do you think like sort of more people are doing more like brand? It's more like a brand play, would you say, or is it like going behind the scenes of their brand, or? Like...
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It's going behind the scenes in brands. It's telling the story. I mean, sometimes it could be like, let's say us, like, we have a remote company. We definitely have like people in certain areas, but let's say we hired you. Some of the work could actually be like 50% could just be like Zooms that we're doing with other people, or and then 50% could be in person. And you just stitch together and you craft the story and you crack the narrative arc, and then we can use that to put on social and just be like, this is, for example, with LCA, our innovation agency, it's like, this is how like it's a micro documentary on how we create a brand for another company.
So it's almost like a case study, but it's got the hook of like micro documentary, which is more intriguing.
Exactly. So I want to hear in the chat, is this a sip or a spit on this idea of micro documentaries productized service? Garth is in this crossroads. We've always been, we've been in, a lot of us listening have been in these crossroads where we don't know if we should, like what we should do next. He's built a good business, but he doesn't know what exactly he should do next. Of course, by the way, Garth, while people are sipping and spitting, let's, I think, of course, you could go and teach people how to create a membership, paid membership, charge for it, and teach people. But I think that if I'm you, I still need to. I'm not done yet. Like you've built up so many great case studies that you can probably use that to charge a lot for.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm there yet. So okay, what do we say? What are we saying? We're getting actually a lot of sips. So Varoom, sip. Ryan, as a director, sip baby. So that's that's high. Justin Newcomb, sip because people need video. John S. I think many companies would like the documentary part. For example, how we started. That's true. Arvin, sip. Jason, sip. Ethan, sip. Victor, sip. So you're getting a lot of sips. There's something there. We'll leave you with that. Get back to your family. Hopefully they're still there. And that's actually a good line. Micro documentary is the new case study.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. This is going to be saved, isn't it, on YouTube? I need to.
Exactly.
I watched yesterday. It's so cool what you're doing, man. You could be charging thousands for this. It's just so sick. So I'm a big fan of the podcast, and yeah, big fan. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. This is fun. All right. Thanks for joining us, Garth.
Thanks.
All right. That was cool. Garth from the UK literally escaped his family. Poor family, but he's going back. His little glass of wine is there. Up next, we've got Joey. I'll bring you on stage, and then we got Patrick and Victor. I see you, but it's going to take a few minutes to get to you all. Boom. And without further ado, Joey, welcome to the stage. No, we can't hear you. No worries. We'll give you a second. All right, Joey. We were. Oh no, Joey. Hello. Say something.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, cool. That's
Yeah,
good.
cool.
Greg, I saw the episode that you did with Starter Story, and I think I kind of came across your content a couple times previously, but it wasn't until I saw it on Starter Story, and then I started to check out your YouTube channel.
Oh, cool. Well, welcome to the channel. I'm doing these. I don't know how long I'm going to do them for, these live streams, but I'm just having fun right now, and it seems like others are having fun. So
Yeah, no, it's
yeah.
a cool idea. It's a cool idea. I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm working on, and I wanted to get your thoughts specifically as someone who has a holding company. I want to get your thoughts on this. So, right now, currently, I'm working on a roll up of restoration contracting companies. So, restoration contractors, these guys are the people that show up to your home to
Hold
fix.
on,
Yeah.
Joey. I got to
Yes.
take off my sweater. Like you're talking about, roll ups. You're getting me hot and heavy here.
Okay.
So shirt is off.
Where are you based right now?
Right now, I am in the middle of. I'm looking over at like 90 acres of pure wilderness in the mountains. I'm in Canada,
Okay. So cool.
and
Awesome,
it's
dude.
just my little nature place where I can go hang out. And
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
Cool. So right now I'm working on a roll up of restoration contracting businesses. So restoration contractors, they are essentially the folks that would show up to your home to fix up anything that breaks after a fire, water damage. It can be as small as like a burst pipe in your home, right? And people really need to fix that as soon as possible before mold sets into their homes. So
yes,
it's a very it's the pain is very real, and people need to call them as soon as possible. And the amazing thing is the homeowners don't really pay out of pocket because it's usually covered by their insurance. So it's a fairly need to have business. So I really like it, and I've gotten a chance to actually sit on the. So I run a venture fund, and I invest in a company called Albuware, which essentially is a service titan specifically for restoration contracting. I've gotten a chance to work with the founder. He and I have gone through a lot of battles together, and we really like working with each other. So over the last 3 years, we've been thinking about this idea, and so we launched our restoration company, or our restoration roll-up idea, and we're starting to have conversations. The website that you should check out is called Longview Restoration. So longviewrestoration.com.
okay,
And this would be we're bringing together essentially about 15 smaller restoration owners and helping them get to the next level, by buying up probably or up to like 80% of their business, helping them retain the 20%. And the cool thing about roll ups, as you probably know, is when you have when you are at, let's say, like 250 in EBITDA, you're
yeah,
probably trading at like 3x, 3x if you're lucky. But if you actually get to, let's say, 10 million or 15 million, like you can be trading at 8 to 10x EBITDA multiple, right? So the idea right now is to bring together small restoration guys that, frankly, right now they're just guys who are just working on their businesses, heads down. They don't necessarily have a retirement plan. All the private equity folks are telling them, hey, you're too small, you're too early for us to even entertain. So to bring these guys together, buy 80% of their business up front, and then help them retain the 20%, give them financial security up front, and then in about 5 years or 6 years or so, we all exit together. And that second, the 20% that they would have retained previously, they would be able to sell at the same probably amount as the first 80%.
right.
So that's the current idea right now. There's a lot more detail, but I'll just kind of stop here and see if you have any initial questions.
And who's funding this?
So this is the thing that I've been going back and forth on. So there's two options. The first option is classic, just raise a fund. I think we were going to need about $25 million in terms of equity. And it would, I probably can scrape together 5 to 10 million of that through my network, because I run a venture fund as well. So that's option one. The option two is to do the MVP of this on my own dime. And there are SBA loans involved. So the idea would be, hey, can we find 2 or 3 of these? If we plan on doing 15, can we find 2 or 3 of these? And Alex and I would just put together our own personal capital and then use SBA loan to lever up, and a combination of seller's note to make it happen. And then roll that into the fund if we can prove out the MVP of this, right? So, I mean, what do you think? I don't know if you...
Dude. So what do you think of Splash before I tell you what I think?
Splash? What is no Splash?
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again.
Yeah.
So similar model, roll up for pool service companies.
Yeah. I
came across them because this guy, Jeremy Yamaguchi,
yes,
like he was the guy from Lawn Love, which was a YC company that was a lawn care marketplace.
Okay, that's awesome.
Really awesome.
Yeah.
And then they built the largest marketplace in lawn care.
Yes.
And then a bunch of like the Cody Sanchez's of the world invested in this business, and they ended up,
cool. Yeah.
So to me, it feels like there's this movement around like Splash for X.
Right. Yes.
And the one thing I'm missing from your pitch, or what I would be doing differently, is like, how do you integrate vertical software as a part of the offering?
Yeah.
So building, one way to, and I'm sure you've already thought about this, but one way to increase multiples, not just by rolling up, is by adding technology to it, and actually creating technology and then selling that to other restoration or small restoration contractors, right?
Yeah.
So
yes.
I think that's what the only thing I'm missing from the pitch. This is a big idea, and I think if I were you, I probably would do like the first, maybe second on my own.
Yeah.
Just so you could, maybe really small ones.
Yes.
Just so you could say that, hey, like I've done this, and you avoid the pain that you're going to get when you speak to investors, and they're going to be like, well, why don't you do this?
Yeah. The one thing that I've spoken to folks like Splash who've kind of done it successfully. They've already exited on the other side as fund managers. One thing I do worry about is, like all startups, you're going to end up figuring it out as you go, right?
Yeah.
So like the back office integration, and especially in restoration contracting, there is a lot of complexity. There's a reason why Service Titan hasn't gone into this space, and it's because of you have to deal with insurance.
Yeah.
Insurance workflows are an absolute nightmare, right? So I think there's going to be a lot to figure out, right? So everything from estimation and coding all the different, line items for insurance companies, all the way to collecting from the insurance companies. And to be fair, Albiware, the software company, it's also actually a YC company as well. And
of course,
they've been trying for the last 3 years. Right now they're a project management company, and now they're like trying and going through that process of trying to own everything on that platform. And it's a complex problem, man. It's it's painful. And I think like when I integrate the first 2 or 3, there's going to be a lot of lessons there, which maybe I don't want to learn on someone else's dime. Maybe I should just learn it on my own dime first before, taking on external investors.
I mean, you could do both, right? So you can, as you could just start like I want to raise $10 million or whatever, and create the deal and raise. But in the background, you're buying, you're not relying on that closing.
Right.
And so I think it's worthwhile to do it. I think the only thing, again, missing from the pitch is going to be that vertical tech piece.
Yes.
And I think that's going to really excite the right people. I mean, I'm interested, you know, if you
Great.
end up
Oh,
raising.
awesome. That's good market validation.
Yeah, I'm interested. Let me know how it turns out. And yeah, maybe there's a way we can partner in some way where we can, you know, we've built some of the biggest vertical SaaS products through our agencies. So maybe there's a way that we can somehow partner. I'm not sure, but what are people thinking? Is this a sip or a spit idea? Should Joey do it himself, take out his own dollars, or go raise from the dark side? What do you think? Sip or spit? Even though he's a part of the dark side.
Right. I am part of the dark side.
And I think I might have seen a McKinsey logo somewhere in here.
Oh no, you're gonna dig up my true dark roots.
Got him. Where are you located, Joey? While people are sipping and spitting.
I recently moved from the Bay to Nashville.
Oh, no way.
I was so sick of California taxes, man. I just couldn't.
Oh, nice. Well, one of my business partners lives in Nashville, so
oh, really?
You should definitely reach out.
Awesome.
You can hit him up on Twitter, Jordan Mix, JRDNX Mix. He'll be here later during the stream. Okay, you're getting a bunch of sips. Just go for it, though. People are saying, Victor is saying, just go for it, and I think that's right. Super sip. You got a super sip. Wow. Super sip. Good idea. And I think for folks listening, you're seeing this this macro trend around splash for X. So think about what is your unfair advantage? Is there a way for you to roll up certain businesses, buy them for a fair price? And this is the Warren Buffett model, right? And sort of bring them together, operate at scale, and increase operational efficiencies. But the one thing that Warren Buffett wouldn't do is create that vertical software layer, which I think really increases the valuation. Invest in yourself, people say. SIP, invest in yourself. Good stuff, Joey. Thanks for coming on, and
thanks, Greg.
And appreciate you sharing with us.
Awesome.
Ooh, and up next we have Mr. Patrick, feedbackfreak.com.
That's right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Welcome to the stage.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I'm a big admirer of you, and I guess your method of
method of madness.
Yeah, method of madness, building the audience first and letting sort of the product fall out of that. So I think my questions are, I guess that's like where to focus my energy. I have all these ideas for tools to build to support basically writers to basically get feedback and publish better stuff more frequently is sort of the goal. And that's, through encouragement and criticism. And some of that's done peer-to-peer, some of that's going to be done with like a marketplace. This is all very new, by the way. I launched this like 2 months ago, coming out of Rite of Passage. I don't know if you know.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, sweet. Nice. So
incredible.
That course, and just coming out of it was like, okay, like, all the things that exist in that cohort are amazing. And when it was ending, everyone was just like, yeah, it'd be awesome to continue doing these, like the gyms, which are just like when you meet and you pitch your idea or you give feedback to people one-on-one. That's just like peer-to-peer stuff, or like the, professional editors that give you feedback. So it's pretty much just surfacing those things that exist in the cohort that then just abruptly end. But then of course I've dreamed up all these other things of like, potentially like AI tools that can do some helpful, for like organizing, making your writing a little more punchier or clearer, inline editing type stuff that's gamified where, there's no like kind of freeloaders or free riders so that people really want to give editing back to each other. There's a bunch of stuff you could do, but, as a follower of you, it's like, I think probably what I should do first is try to grow an audience and like really kind of interview them and understand, all right, I'm a writer, so I'm basing some of the assumptions around what I need, but, building the audience first, of course, would help guide like a more crystal clear vision of what is actually needed. And I'm just like, maybe I'm hamstrung around like, I'm like, oh man, can I really grow an audience? Like I've only had like 50 people sign up for like gyms or whatever. And just through rite of passage, the last cohort just ended. So it got a little bit of bump there, but I've had some like one-on-one, encouragement from people saying like, oh, it was a good idea. Like I like the idea that it's not really crystallized very well, but in any event, yeah, curious to just hear your thoughts and like where I should focus my energy, I guess.
So Zach asked a really good question. What does someone giving feedback get out of it?
Great question. Yeah, I think for the peer-to-peer stuff, I mean, there's going to be a marketplace I'm launching where they actually get paid. So that's a separate sort of offering. But for the peer-to-peer stuff, I guess my pitch to them would be giving feedback helps you become a better writer and a better thinker. And it makes you more self-aware as a writer. And I think a lot of people realize that go through rite of passage at least, but probably it's not too obvious to everyone. Maybe potentially if they're trying to sell like editing services too, or like some consulting service, then that's sort of a lead generation for them. But other than that, yeah, it's not really a ton of value. Which is a good question.
And okay, so here's how I would do it if I were you. So first of all, I think the insight around, because I'm a writer myself, and I sometimes, most of the time, 99% of the time, I write in a silo. And I'll even have like my wife just be like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" Like she reads a lot of my stuff.
Yep.
Just but I would also love the ability for a professional writer, or someone who's writing on the internet, publishing out there, to give me feedback, and I'd pay for it. So I like that insight, but I think you're in for a world of pain based on what I've seen, because I think you're going to have issues incentivizing at scale. You're going to have issues incentivizing people to matchmake, basically.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's question. I wonder if there's a simpler way to actually do what you're trying to do. Like, what if there was an email that you send your piece and you get a Loom, 5-minute Loom with feedback, and maybe you have to pay for it each time. And maybe you also get like a Google Doc associated with it. You probably have to, because like maybe there's grammar, or it's just easier. I mean, I write in Google Docs, so for me,
yeah,
it would be easier. So I wonder if there's just like email feedbackfreak.com. And in order to email feedbackfreak.com, you have to pay a monthly fee of $20 a month. Like, you get a membership. The membership allows you to email this email. And then within 48 hours, you are going to get back a Loom and a Google Doc around what another writer would do. Now, why is that easier than how you have it set up? Well, you don't have to rely on like a live group hangout or a live one-on-one chat. It's just you're obfuscating away the marketplace. So you're hiding it with an email.
Yeah.
It also probably is more comfortable for people to work async. So another trend is just that people when it comes to online stuff, they're actually prioritizing away of synchronous stuff, and they're moving more. People prefer async. When it comes to IRL, in-person stuff, they prefer like in-person events, synchronous. So what I'm doing is I'm shifting away. Loom feedback, Google Doc, Costco type membership, right? You need to pay every year, probably not every month, because I think also people are getting tired of this every month for something like this, which is maybe not a must-have, is a nice-to-have. But like for $200 a year, $300 a year, get the membership, get the email, and I think that there's something to that. I love the name feedbackfreak.com. Like, I love it. Like, I love the idea of like, you're a feedback freak. I just wonder if the holdco is called Feedback Freak and the first product is called writingfeedbackfreak.com.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, actually you hit on something. That's ideally what the grand vision is, to like be a Feedback Freak app for all creative endeavors. Like, I think anyone that's starting out creatively, they don't have a network, they don't have anyone to kind of bounce ideas off of. So it's partly like they need encouragement. They also need like actual criticism. And like as the world like sort of for better or for worse tells everyone they should be a creator, as we kind of see online, for better or for worse. I think it's just, yeah, it's going to be more and more a necessity. And if you can try to perfect, I mean, my grand vision is like, I'm really influenced by Rick Rubin right now. I don't know if you've seen him on podcasts and stuff. He's
Of course.
yeah, he's the man. And like, it's like he ultimately, when you look at what he does, he oversimplifies it. Obviously, it's like, I don't know anything about music. I just really know what my tastes are, and I'm able to communicate that to artists in a way that they find useful. And it's like, he's ultimately just a really good feedback partner. And like, could you figure out, if you had enough data, if you had enough people, what podcasts to listen to, what do they read, what are their objectives? Could you algorithmically match people so that everyone has their own like Rick Rubin, you know what I mean? For any creative endeavor would be like awesome. But that's great feedback. Well, so that makes a ton of sense. Like you said, obfuscating the marketplace and having that as a product, like 24-hour or 48-hour turnaround. I love the idea. How would you grow the marketplace? You kind of have the, chicken and egg kind of starting problem there.
I mean, to me, it's simple. Like you start on Twitter, you create an audience called it's too long to say writer feedback freak.
Yeah.
It would just be like at writing feedback, and you literally just roast or rewrite popular popular creators writing, and you write threads on it.
I love it.
And so you start doing that, you build the credibility that way. And then like, to me, it's not going to be hard to find the writers who want to actually give feedback, like the looms, because you'll just pay them. But you'll have bootstrapped via the memberships. So you're going to sell these 1-year memberships. That's going to fund a lot of the payment for the initial people. And then every time, like, I don't know how you have it, but maybe it's every time someone asks for feedback, they have to pay a certain amount. Or maybe in a year this is actually probably how you do it. So you get a lifetime membership, a yearly membership. And with that, you get a certain amount of credits. Call it 10 credits. Each time you want feedback, you use 1 credit.
Okay.
And that, let's say you sell a credit for $30. Maybe it takes someone 5 minutes. So you pay the writer $15. You take $15. And the pitch to the writer is like, I'm going to pay you a little bit, but I don't even need to pay you, because the amount of stuff that you're going to learn from doing this is going to make you a 10x better writer.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Yep.
I'm just going to pay you because I want to keep you incentivized, right? Show me the incentives and I'll show you the outcome. So,
yep.
What do people think? Is this a sip or a spit? What do you think of this idea? And give Patrick a little feedback, because he's a feedback freak, I might say.
Yeah, man, I gotta give you a shout out too on the name. You're like, I saw one of your threads was like, would you put it on a t-shirt? And that's how I was like, oh yeah, I'd wear a t-shirt that said feedback freak. So
yeah, I call that the t-shirt test.
Yeah.
Coming up with a name, would you be proud to wear it as a t-shirt? And that's, you got a spit, sadly. You got a sad spit. Not just a spit, you got a sad one by Victor. I think it feels convoluted. Okay. You got Yvette gives you a sip. So you got 1 sit and you got 1 sad spit. Come in the comment section. Anyone else for a sip or spit? Feel free to come in the comment section, and we will send off Patrick to his off stage. All right, that's about it. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it, and later. Good luck.
Thanks.
And there you have it. We now have 91 people in this. You got a sip. You got a last sip. Got 88 people here. What do you think? Should I keep going? We're 45 minutes through. Should I keep going? I'm running out of sip, I must say. I'm running out of liquid here. I'm running out of liquid. So keep going. Keep going, Verum says. Yes, Yvette says, keep going. Keep this train rolling, baby. Chris, nice to see you again from yesterday. It's interesting. We're seeing a lot of repeat visitors. No clamatos needed. Yes. Seeing a lot of repeat visitors. If you were here yesterday, feel free to go into the chat. Okay, refill the mug. I think that's fair. I'm going to go before Victor and Yvette, before I bring you on stage. Victor first and Yvette. I will fill this up. But I have one quick ask for you. If you're having fun, feel free to share the YouTube link with your friends on Twitter, on LinkedIn. 91 people. We were more yesterday, so let's get more yesterday. It's free to share the link, and it'll be more fun with more people. All right, be back in 2 minutes. But I have a question. Should I be sipping tea or coffee? I will accept whatever you tell me to sip. Should it be tea or coffee now? The tea is mint tea with fresh honey. And the coffee, beer. Wow. Beer. Coffee. One of each. Insane. Coffee. A lot of coffee. The coffee is honestly instant coffee, which is going to offend people. But, wow, it's a lot of coffee. Vodka. Both. Whatever you're sipping, choose the other one. Okay, that's actually fair. Okay, we hit 100 people. All right, everyone. No instant coffee. Should I do the French press or instant coffee? Instant coffee king. Should I do the French press or instant coffee? I'll do coffee, but French press or instant coffee? Oi. Espresso. I know. I mean, I have an espresso shop just down the corner, but I don't want to leave you guys for too long. French press. All right, we're going to do French press. I'm going to add to the stage Victor.
Hi.
And Victor.
Yes.
You're going to have the stage for 3 minutes. Can I trust you with the stage?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to wreck it. I'm going to burn it.
Perfect.
No, I'm not going to do anything.
I think I brought the right people. I mean, I'm 50% excited, 50% frightened.
I'm after brunch sipping whiskey, so.
Oh my God, we got the right person. I might take 5 minutes. I might take 5 minutes. You know. Okay, so get excited. Send some hearts for Victor. He's gonna talk about whatever he wants to talk about while I'm making French press.
Actually, I'm going to apologize for my spit, but here's why I did it is because I also run an app for writers. This is crazy. I also run an app for writers. It's called Magic Book of Fire, and I've dealt with a lot of writers. Coming in, and the hardest thing to do is to get these people who are deeply rooted in art to go through a series of actions that get them what they want. Like the easier it's like a button click that gives them a prize, then that is what people respond to more. And I feel like if they have to go through a series of steps to get their feedback, then, I mean, there's my cat Dizzy, by the way. Then you know that you have like some drop off. I'm not Greg, so I'm not really great at this. But why am I here by myself? Anyway, that's
you are great, Victor. You are great. You're up here with people. You're doing great. I'm just boiling some water, and I'm just hearing you in the background.
Yeah,
and it's not easy. So give it up. Keep going. People are loving this. Look in the comment section. People are loving this.
Cool. Oh, you can hear me? So maybe I should just tell you about what my idea is while you get your coffee or anything.
All right, let's do it.
Awesome. Great. Okay. So the reason I'm here, I'm a multipreneur. I accidentally got into being a multipreneur. And one of my projects, we just pivoted, and it is, I think, about to blow up really big. And I want advice on customer acquisition. So here's what it is. So I have this website, which is a video game website called High Score Game Arcade. If you go to highscoregamearcade.com right now, you'll see a game that I made for a brand, for Joey Kramer from Aerosmith. I made a game for his coffee brand, where I did a reimagining of the video game Tapper, which is like this old 1980s game that Budweiser had, where you would serve at a bar, and I reimagined it as a coffee shop game. Anyway, so then at one point we did an activation at a live activation in person, where we had a screen that was up, and on the screen was a high score list, and then people at the live activation could scan a QR code. They'd go into a game on the web on their phone, and then they play that game, and then their names go up on the high scoreboard. And this really worked really well. And then so we changed this into a product, and this is the product that is really about to blow up. What we do is we'll go into a brick and mortar business where gaming works, like say a sports bar. You put up a leaderboard screen.
Wait, Victor,
yeah.
We need the URL. People are dying for the URL.
Well, the URL of the website is highscoregamearcade.com.
Gamearcade.com.
Highscoregamearcade.com. And that's the URL where you can see the game that I made with Joey Kramer from Aerosmith, his coffee brand.
Cool. I'm just going to share my screen real quick.
Right. Rockin' and roasting. That's the name of his coffee.
Amazing.
Oh, and then on July 1st, you win $1,000 if you get the high score in the game.
Very cool.
So this is the website. The website works. It runs on ads. It runs on ads and brands. Nobody has to pay to play the game, but this is how the game works. So in person, what'll happen is at a bar, you'll see like a high score. You'll see like a leaderboard, and it'll be like saying play. It'll be a screen that'll say play this game. Win a $25 bar tab if you get the high score today. Okay, they scan. And then they play the game, and their name goes up on the leaderboard, and it's highly interactive. And we found that like 40% of people, when they're told about this, will interact with it. And then so these brick and mortar businesses gain all of these emails, okay, and gain local emails, and then we own all the advertising space on the screens and at the end of the game. So brands want to be on the screens and on the game over screens with a clickable ad. Okay. And then so when we approach places, it costs them nothing. The brand pays for everything. Okay. So like if you've got a chain of bars, we put this leaderboard thing in your bar with games that we serve. And then a brand like say Coke will be like, we want to be on all of those screens. And so they pay for the activation. The spaces get money from the brand sponsorship. Some of that money goes to the spaces to pay for their daily prizes, like the $25 bar tab or whatever they want to give out. And then the spaces get local email lists. So it's like kind of like a win for everybody.
Yeah.
And then where we are right now is we just started offering this because we kind of like found our way to this product. And then the hardest part is talking to brands that have the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a world where I'm not familiar with. I mean, I've kind of chipped my way into that world a little bit. I found ways to get there.
Victor,
but I'm just wondering
less.
if there's a better way.
Say less. It sounds like the vibe is you're really like you love what you do and you love building the games and you love and that's like your passion, and the dealing with the big brands and finding them and getting in those rooms and doing those deals doesn't seem like it's exciting to you and something that it's your unfair advantage. Is that correct?
I don't know what you mean by it's my unfair advantage. What do you mean?
Well, I think whenever you're doing a startup, you do need an unfair advantage. And when I haven't known you for that long, but it's clear that you're a really creative person. Like you come up with really cool ideas and you put them into life, right? And around gaming and art and music. Is that
yes,
even just like
looking
looking in your background. Like that's the vibe I get.
Yeah.
There's literally a cat just like, yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. So I think what you need, so I like the concept. Yeah, and you're also drinking whiskey at what time? What time is it?
Well, I'm in New York. We had brunch. We already started,
Oh,
so
okay.
party's on today, you know?
Totally. Totally. You're a rock star. You're a gaming rock star. So I like the idea. I think it's interesting. The idea of selling to brands also, sounds like a big headache, honestly. I'm curious if people sip or spit this idea. Feel free to put in the chat. But I think what you need is, do you have like an agency that represents you guys?
Yeah, we're talking to one. So I come from entertainment background, which is actually I had a lot to think about when the guy was talking about video because I used to be a television producer most of my time, and then so about his mini documentaries, I think he's right on for that. Like brands will absolutely love that, and you do it right, and you just plan it well. And I think that he could knock it out of the park because you can keep your costs down. That's beside the point. Shit, what was the question? I'm so sorry. I have ADHD.
Do you work with an agency? Do you work with an
Yes.
agency? Yeah. You do
Yeah.
work with,
Yeah, I have an agency for some of my projects, but not this particular one. But I am going to be pitching it to agencies right now. What we do is I use the Winmo database. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
Winmo, WinMo is this database of all companies and all of their staff who do
cool.
marketing and sponsorship, and it tells what their mandates are, how much they spend, what their spending is month by month in some cases.
Wow.
I'm going to give something very valuable to everybody here. If you, depending on what city you're in, the New York Public Library gives you a free membership to Winmo if you have a library card, and it's worth Winmo's memberships are worth $10,000 a year.
No.
Yes.
What?
Exactly. And then I checked, and then some other cities do the same thing. I think Chicago does it as well.
Right.
So it's a giant database. It's so valuable, and you can get it for free through the Public Library Business Center in New York.
I don't know what you all think, but it feels like Victor is an angel, and he's just come to bless us with his free tools.
What I found that transferred really well to entrepreneurship is that I used to be for all those shows, I was also a high level researcher. And then so when we do documentary shows, I'd have to research and make sure that everything was 100% correct. And so I'd find things in crazy spaces. And then so like that obviously translates for entrepreneurship. You could just find things that are useful.
Okay, I like it. We got some quick questions for you, and then we're gonna have to move on. But their quick questions are: someone Aryan says sip, but why not charge subscription fees to the business instead? Like, have you thought about that?
Yes, we have thought about charging subscriptions fees to the business. However, the thing is, the long game is because every business wants this. Every brick and mortar business wants emails of local people. Period.
Yeah.
If I had the money right now, I could fund this myself and just put it in every bar that said yes, and then I would own all those screens, and then then when we were in contact with brands, it would be just super easy because it's already easy now. The brands that we have gotten in contact with are very responsive to this already. So that's why I'm just like digging to find out exactly how to reach people, because it's when they know it exists, when they know that they can be in these spaces, and when they know that at the end of every game over screen is a clickable ad that they could own, like the brands want it.
Jamil says, dude, I'm switching to whiskey right now. So you're, again, an inspiration. And then Jamil also says, why not just affiliate with people who are already in the rooms you want to be in?
I am trying to do that. For instance, Buckwild Agency. So I have a contact through Buckwild Agency, and they are an agency which has brands. And then so we already we already kind of got in with them because one of my other ventures is a TV show I did that I have a co-production deal, and the company that I have a co-production deal with is represented by Buckwald, and so they're representing a TV show that I created, and so that is like a kind of a way in. This just happened last week, so I haven't even gotten a chance to talk to them yet, so I'm trying to figure it out.
Cool. And what's one quick question I can answer for you before we head out?
I just want actually one quick question that you could answer is, do you so I couldn't find when you guys were talking about Octoplay on one episode. Do you remember this episode? No,
I know.
you don't remember. So
I
you know
don't
what
remember
Octoplay is, though, right?
the
The
casino
Octoplay
game.
is the gaming system that
Yeah.
goes in the back of cars and blah blah blah.
Oh yeah,
And
we talked
and you
about
guys,
it with gambling.
yeah. And
Yeah.
you guys were talking. Funny, I've been approached by a guy who wants
Yeah.
to do a gambling thing. We may do some white label stuff for.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? But when you were talking about that, I also thought of monetizing through pay-per-click ads. Because if we have all these people playing these games, we could monetize through pay-per-click ads. And you mentioned, I wish I could remember what you mentioned. Do you is there a better alternative to pay-per-click ads? Like if I weren't going to monetize with brands, how else would I monetize?
We talked about lead based. We talked about like, give me your phone number, give me your phone number, give me your email address, and we talked about CPA, CPL, cost per lead is what we talked about. So
right, companies which pay for that, and then doing that and affiliates and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
I think that's the easiest sell versus trying to sell cost per click, because then people are, you're going to a Chili's, let's say, a Chili's restaurant, and you're like, hey, would you pay $1 a click? And it's like, maybe, because then you're competing against Google and Facebook and stuff like that. Versus, hey, if I got you 25,000 email addresses and phone numbers in your local area, would you give me $25,000 for that? Oh yeah, all day long, because they know that the lifetime value of a customer is XYZ, and it's further down on the funnel, right? Cost per click is at the top. It's like all it is intent. Oh, I have intent to go to Chili's.
That's great. And then you also reminded me, one of the reasons that we weren't trying to charge monthly fees to these places, because we have to educate them, because a lot of these brick and mortar businesses, they don't even understand e-commerce at all.
Yeah, totally. So you don't want to do that.
It's harder to educate them. Thank you. And before I leave, I just want to say a second thank you, because I did reach out to Dickie Bush because of your show.
Okay.
About my writing app, and we're actually talking about doing something together, which is awesome.
There you go.
Thanks.
Your
show's awesome.
Crazy.
I love
it.
it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Victor. You're awesome, and you held it down. You and the cat held it. What's the name of the cat?
The cat, that is Dizzy. I also have another cat named Miles.
Okay, Dizzy. I'm gonna give the shout out to co-host Victor and co-host Dizzy, who held it down while I was brewing coffee. You guys were just drinking whiskey and hanging out. I appreciate it, and thanks for legends. Later.
Thank you.
Boom. All right. We are going to bring patient Yvette on.
Hey, Greg. Can you hear me?
We made it. Yes. We hear you wonderfully. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you. And thanks for doing this. I think a lot of us are really appreciative. I'm actually reaching out to you from Miami, because
No way.
I was born and raised here. My parents live here. I have a house out in Naples now, but I still spend a lot of time. So I'm at my parents' house right now in Miami.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you. So a little background. I'm from Miami. I went to Michigan and I moved to New York City and then back to Miami, where I'm from originally. My background's in consulting, Ernst & Young, Deloitte, implementing large ERP systems. But I've been working for the man all this time, and I really wanted to venture out and do something. And so I have a lot of ideas. The one I want to talk about today is something I've kind of worked on a little bit more than the others, but nothing really totally fleshed out. So what I'd like to do is I kind of let me know if you can see. I have just a little deck.
Could you share your screen?
Yeah, I'm trying to
It might not. I don't know. We've never done this. You know, we've never had someone do that. But if you can,
Yeah. Okay.
oh wow, I see your screen. Hold on, I have to add it to the stage. Boom. All right, everyone see it? Cool. We're live. Weight journey. All right, you have a few minutes to go
It's
through.
it's only one slide. It's just
Oh,
something to have.
one slide.
I just wanted some visuals so that we can actually look at something while we're chatting.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share. I needed to lose weight. I still do actually, but I wanted to build a community to make it fun and also to really monetize it. So I was active between 2020 and 2022. I wanted to start monetizing it via like being an affiliate, ads, YouTube, etc. So I own weightjourney.com as well as the Twitter handle. And so I started a YouTube channel. I recorded maybe about less than 20 videos. I also have a Facebook landing page for it. And oddly enough, Greg, the reason this has kind of like started to come into my mind again, because it kind of died after 2022, but the Facebook page recently every day gets like 3 likes and like subscribers. It's subscribing by itself. I'm not doing anything. And I don't know what's going on with the Facebook. I'm literally not touching it. And so I'm thinking, gosh, I've got right now 624 people subscribed to this page. And I can continue posting onto onto that page. So, it's kind of fertile ground. I lost a lot of weight with one product in particular, one course. And, but then, after the pandemic, I actually ended up gaining some weight back. So I'm thinking instead of putting so much pressure on myself to share this journey, the idea is like a spin-off idea. And, if you guys don't, like this, maybe if people have other ideas for other spin-off ideas, I'd love to hear them. But maybe a before and after app that would be really similar to Instagram, but really solely for sharing pictures and stories of people's before and after. So whether that's weight loss, muscle gain, home remodeling, plastic surgery results, things like haircuts. I purchased a few URLs that you see on the screen. Shazam, Max Inspo for inspiration for people, before and after.net. So that's it. Those are the ideas. And just wondering what your input is for that.
Well, thank you for sharing, Yvette. This is legendary. And the domain that you own, weightjourney.com, is an incredible domain.
Do you know who tried buying it a few years after I owned it? And then now they have a patent on it, and I don't have a patent on it, but I own the URL, is the Ozempic company.
Oh,
they
okay.
actually tried buying it. Yeah, they have a patent on the name, but
I thought you were going to say Weight Watchers, who was one of our clients, one of our old clients. Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah. But Ozempic also sort of makes sense as well. What do you want to get out of this?
To be perfectly honest, I really want to work for myself. And so it doesn't have to, it has to generate a certain amount of income to have just a certain lifestyle, but not a huge amount. And so it's funny because I read, I follow you on LinkedIn. I hear you talking about millions. I don't even have to be there to just really work for myself. So it has to generate enough to just be comfortable. Let's just say well under $1 million. And so that's one. Two is I feel really passionate about, weight loss and health and how people approach it. And so I'm very interested, and I think you should do something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Because I've thought about other ideas, but I'm not as passionate about them, so they don't come as naturally. So these are the things that I'm trying to get out of it. And I know that in general, everyone's trying to look good and lose weight. So it's kind of fertile ground, but how do you tap into it?
Well, I think what I'm missing from you is, from what I'm hearing at least, is like a unique point of view on how to approach weight loss.
Okay.
So I think, to me, the Instagram before and after app, like, could it work? Yes. But, is that the best way to achieve your goals? So many people come up with startup ideas and they're just, it could be a good idea. It could be a SIP idea, but if it's not really helping you get to your goal, and you create that, and it's very hard to monetize. Like, I have a buddy who created a Instagram for fitness enthusiasts, and it had millions of users, and he couldn't It's like, oh, on paper it's doing really well, but he had issues monetizing it. And you would think, oh, with millions of users, of course you should be able to. But then you're competing. We talked about this with Victor a little bit. Then you're competing with Meta ads. So you're in the ad business, and then you're competing against Meta and Google, and that's it's not a journey you want to embark on. What I think is, and I sound like a broken record, but what I think how I would approach it is like building an audience around weight journey and coming up with a unique point of view on how you approach that. There has to be some unique way that you're approaching it, or you believe in, or you partner with someone who has like a scientific method or some way of approaching that you're like, I really believe in this approach, and I'm going to go create a paid membership. Like for me, it's like super simple. Audience, pay, with a unique perspective. Maybe it's like weight journeys for people who follow Brian Johnson, or people who are into keto, or people into, these are unique point of views. Dr. Peter Artia. Then you can spend money to, you build some audience. Then you can spend money to, target people who follow Brian Johnson, Peter Artia, whoever it is. Oh shit, Cody's here. Cody is here. Cody is in the building. And then I think it's, you do a paid membership to beta test what you're doing. Like you build like a, $20 a month, $50 a month. You can sell coaching, of course. But I'm really missing the point of view. I feel like you can't start anything until you're missing a point of view. And I wouldn't be building an app. I would be like, building coaching and building a paid membership.
Okay.
Yeah. Cody has some, massive community of weight loss for sure. But I also think like you can just do a paid membership, sell access to chatbot via text. Like that's another idea, which is like, there's this bigger trend around accountability and coaching via chatbots. So if you can build the chatbot once and just pay and sell it $20 a month, there's an investment I made in a company called vidIQ. vidIQ is this Chrome extension. It's huge, has millions of users. It helps YouTube creators.
I have it on my YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets better at YouTube, and they have a $99 a month coaching product, and they use the mind share they get from the Chrome extension to sell coaching. And I think you can do a similar thing around like, what is a free product that you can give away and then sell coaching and then eventually automate via AI.
Okay.
Cody is saying, we love Cody. He's saying, what should I eat on this? Yeah, I think that's a big question that people have. Like they want to be able, I had breakfast this morning and at this restaurant, and it's like, do I order the omelet? Do I order, sausage or bacon? Like I need help.
I should say I lost a lot of weight during the pandemic on this one diet, and so I was an affiliate for it. It's a protein sparing modified fast. So I guess that was the niche initially. And it was a great affiliate. It was like paid 80% for the product. But I think maybe shouting that a little louder from the rooftops. And I love the chat idea, the chat GPT idea.
Yeah.
As a coach. Really cool.
Also, like that's the type of thing that you're going to get press with. So like press is like looking for stories around this chat. Oh my God, this chatbot saved me. I lost 25 pounds with this chatbot, and telling your story and going out there and being like nothing was working for me. And I also just think so like cold DMing all these journalists and being like, here's my story and here's how chat GPT helped me. Here's this GPT helped me getting.
Is it like a chat? Is the idea like a chatbot GPT, like cheerleader to help you on you? Is that the idea?
I think, I think one of the, it could be, I think what you should do is actually write out, if I, take a piece of paper and write like bot in the middle, AI bot, and be like, okay, what are the different ways an AI bot or AI coach could help someone who's trying to do what? Lose weight. And it's like, well, accountability, like,
right.
Did you you know, did you do XYZ today? Did you not eat carbohydrate? You know, did you not eat pieces of bread? Did you not have fries? Did you not do this? I don't know. There's just general cheerleading,
Yeah.
general, just like make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Cody says there's 9,900 searches per month for nutrition coach. So there's tons of demand for people who are looking for these coaches. And there's not that many AI coaches available. So now that's kind of an interesting play.
That's a great idea, you guys.
So
Thank you.
yeah, like think about it as like a hub and spoke model, like bot
Yeah.
in the middle, and just like what are the different things that come out to it, and come up with that point of view. And I think that there's probably an AI idea here, and there's probably a just like a paid subscription you can do.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming up, and
Great.
love to see where you take it.
Yeah.
All right. Patrick's already been on here. All right. That's basically it, I think. Let me check my, I think this might be it for today. Cody, I sent you the link if you want to come up, but if not, we are going to end the stream early. I'd love Cody to come on, but he has to, you know, he's a busy guy. I sent him the link. Let's see if Cody comes on. He's jumping on. Cody's on. All right. He's coming on. Okay, so I'm gonna bring some more people on. So DM me on Instagram if you want to come up, and we will bring you up. Okay, Cody's gonna take 5. Take your time, Cody. I'm just sending the link to people on Instagram. I actually, Varum, good question. What are some business ideas that I have been on my mind lately? I actually did a quick recording that I'll post this week with the one idea I've been thinking about. And I just decided to give it away. So you'll see it on my YouTube this week. You will see it. All right. While we're waiting for Cody, feel free to DM me on IG at Greg Eisenberg and share this stream. Cody's coming on. You know, Cody Brock always brings the fire. He always brings the heat. And today will be no exception. So share the link with your group chats. Share the link with your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your friends, and then go on Twitter and just screenshot this with the link. Let's get some more people in here. Are you having fun? Are you learning? Are your creative juices flowing? Let's get that in the chat. Let's see what's what people are thinking. Okay, Mythic has shared with his or her AI girlfriend, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty darn cool. That's pretty cool. This is better than Shark Tank. Oh, okay. Wow. You're here, Cody.
What up?
Can't believe it. I see you more than I see my own mother.
I don't know. I don't have any response to that.
How was your afternoon last night?
Dude,
yeah,
it was amazing.
how was your afternoon last night is what I said. How was your afternoon?
It was great, man. Went to the park, drank a bottle of wine. We had the dogs, played frisbee, super chill. And then, yeah, went out and got dinner with some friends. But anyway, just working this weekend and saw you were online, and you know, naturally, I'm a glutton for punishment, and this is a compulsion, and so I have to do this. So anyway, here.
You are.
Can I go off on the nutrition coach thing real quick? Because I
Yes.
actually think this is a really good idea. I love these consumer apps that are starting to come up that are basically like, what's this really expensive service that only the rich can afford currently? Which is terrible to say about like mental health and like all this shit, but it's the reality. And then like, how do I give an 80% as good version of that using, you know, clobbered together AI tools? I think there's a huge market for those types of things. In the coaching space in particular, like this is something that I think is huge. You could probably do this in like business coaching and all of these other things. We're actually starting to see this happen with like business coaches or just coaches in general, where they're taking their whole back catalog of content and they turn it into a chat bot and they charge a subscription to it, where it's like, okay, I have this, you know, expertise, knowledge, and I'm going to basically almost like paywall gate it so for you to access it. And what this does is, instead of, you know, it allows them to hit that part of the market that they normally couldn't, you know, extract any value from. So like as a coach, like traditionally, you know, you're servicing like 1% of your actual audience who can pay you whatever your price is, you know, $2.95 an hour, et cetera, or whatever your monthly cost is. But for this, you know, for them, what they can do is they can be like, oh, this is $20 a month. You get access to all the knowledge, all of my documents, in this like way for you to like chat with it. I think that same idea, you know, leveling that up and applying it to, okay, how do I spin this into consumer apps? And that's what I think this nutrition one could totally be, right? It's like a nutrition coach on average is 65 an hour in the US. Like if you can get that down to where it's like $20 a month. And I'm just imagining like you could be at a restaurant, you send an image of the menu and you're like, what should I eat off this based off of my goals? Right. And it's like, oh, cool. Here's this like almost like, you know, live in person, you know, nutrition coaching that's happening. And it's funny, we almost did this like 2.5 years ago at a company I was working at. And we were going to use like offshore talent to basically like, you know, train them on these protocols that these professional nutritionists would make, and then would like augment the nutritionists so they could have like these like live chat conversations. But now you can just do the same thing entirely with AI. So anyway, but
I have a fun question for you. So
yeah,
check this out. Weight Watchers, which is the OG
totally
weight loss company, stock's down 95% of all time. Market cap's about 125 million bucks. If you are Weight Watchers, what would you do?
If I was Weight Watchers, I think that them having their own Instagram with like it basically clone Instagram, and it's all it is just like, you know, before and after pictures of people doing the thing and their journeys, and then like maybe you post their stats, like people can have their stats on their profile. But I think this play is the same thing, right? It's just nutrition. Their game is a little bit different though, right? Because like they're selling like prepackaged meals and like all of these other kind of, you know, I'm just thinking about the drink, like that physical product component of this. But I think that you could probably go after this market with a lot of people just don't know, like they have questions and they don't know what to ask or who to ask or where to ask, or don't have the like the you know, the funds to basically afford that professional coach. Like why can Chris Hemsworth go put on weight or drop weight like overnight, right? It's because he has a nutritionist, a private chef, and, you know, all these people that are behind him basically doing that. So like I'm just imagining, how do you do basically 80% of what that person in public, like that public figure has access to, like all these people? How can you do that 80% in the background? And, you know, I mean, this can even relate into, I'm at Trader Joe's as an example. I'm like taking a photo of one of the prepackaged meals that are there or whatever. And it's like asking my nutritionist, my digital nutritionist, like, you know, does this fit my meal plan? Does like, how can I factor this in, or what, you know, what should I do? And so I think that's that's how I would think about it. The Weight Watchers thing, I have no idea, because I don't really know their business model that well. Do you know it decently, Greg?
Yeah, I do. And there's only so much I can say here because I've worked with their team, their executive team.
Totally.
But when you think of Weight Watchers, they're like the OG of gamification, literally.
100%.
Dude, like in the 1980s, early 1980s, I think they got started. Oprah was like on the board, and the idea was just like point system for meals. Like calories is too complicated for the average American. Let's just do points. And then fitness, and then basically community centers where they would do group weighings. Like they would do like weighings and they, so you have the peer pressure.
And you have the community component. So there's these whole,
brilliant.
I think there's two crossovers that I would do if I was in their shoes. I would go, have you seen this app? It's called like Clear App or getclearapp.com. Went through YC. I randomly stumbled on the founder on Twitter. She was like dropped out of Oxford or something to go build this thing. It's kind of gangster. Or, I don't know, some traditional path. But basically what it is people like test. They put in their different skin like qualities. Like, am I dry skin? Am I whatever? And there's this whole subset of community that this micro community that exists around like skin routines, right? And basically testing skin routines based off of like what your kind of natural complexion, your natural skin, basically like how it functions, right? So what I mean, just thinking about this, but then applied to weight loss is the same idea. Like, here's my body type, here's this whole thing. There's this. So I think there is this space for like these micro communities and showing the before and after. I just don't know, like, the challenge with this is always how do you, to your point, like cut through the noise. Like what they're doing here is they're riding a wave that's happening already, right? So like it's like skincare and skin routines, like face skin routines, are becoming more popular currently, and so they're just like going up with that. But that, like, I guess the weight loss thing, maybe it's something that's always happening. I don't know. Weight loss is hard, man. I don't know consumer that well. You know this.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I will say one thing on that Get Clear website. They have a quiz that you can take. There's a little quiz. Talk to me about how you think about quizzes as a way to get interests.
I think about it as like you're getting buy-in without people knowing that you're getting buy-in, right? So like if you do, you spend 15 minutes doing this quiz and then they ask you for your email at the end, like a lot of the times people feel this investment that they've just like gone through. And so it can be this really powerful lead magnet, especially if there's like an educational component that's provided at the end. So like we did this in the past. I was doing some work for a company in the women's health space, and we had this basically like a quiz that, like, once they answered all these things, it would build this like custom plan for them, right, based off of their responses. Super simple logic, nothing complex or like interesting, but like, again, it would take you we'll say 10 minutes to go through this whole thing, so it was actually a lot of information. And what we'd see is like this super high convert. It also, if a person is that far down this thing, like they have just shown you all of the reasons, like they have a huge need for whatever the product is that you're offering, whatever that quiz leads to. So I think it can be a massive lead gen thing. It's just figuring out how do you get that top of funnel to like get people there. But then it can be like, can you get at the end of it, can you get people to share it out to other people to see what their results are? That type of thing. But anyway.
Dope. We're gonna bring Paul on.
Let's do it.
Paul, what up? How you doing?
Paul, what's good?
How's it going, guys?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for taking this on. The idea here is really just, I guess you could call it a DoorDash type app for car repairs. The problem you're solving here is trying to quickly identify shops that can take on, either a transmission change or an inspection, and the focus there is focused regionally and locally, right? So you start out really small mom and shop mechanic shops, and if I need an oil change or if I need my tire replaced, go into this application and essentially have the businesses compete based on price and service, and then I can make that selection and schedule that service over the phone. And so, from I don't know if I want to call it an app or website, but from the business side, you sort of, you take a percentage from linking both parties together here. So that's the general idea.
Yeah. So two questions come to mind. So this sounds like a marketplace play, which is always super hard. So it's chicken and egg problem. You have to get one side of the marketplace and have some type of arbitrage that you only have or you only see with that. And so for you, it's auto dealerships and then people, or so car owners. What I imagine this probably serves the car owner more when you have like this bidding war happening, right?
Yeah.
And so but the dealers are going to be against this, right? So that's going to be the uphill battle with this type of thing, unless you get so much volume on the consumer side that they have to be there, because that's where people are going, right? So like DoorDash is an example. Like why DoorDash has a ton of these users on the consumer side, if you talk to a restaurant owner, they hate DoorDash. They don't want to use it. They don't want nothing to do with it, right? Because it cuts in the margin, but because so many people are there, they have to be there. So that's like one component of this. And then the other question I'd have is around like what percentage of repairs could happen like mobilely? Like because maybe it's just pulling out a subset of this, where it's like, you know, whether it's like windshield cleaning or I don't know anything about this space, but it's like, hey, we have these 3 product offerings, and that's the you know, these are the 3 things that we do. We can do that at a way cheaper price, and it's, you know, I almost think about it as a business in a box then for some guy that's working at Jiffy Lube, and he's like, oh, I can go, you know, I can do these 3 things all day long and make more money doing, you know, going out and doing this. An example of something that reminds me of this is my friend's a paramedic, and he runs like an IV business on the side, and he like makes more money from his IV business, like just like, you know, doing like IVs for like bachelorette parties. He makes more money from that than like his job working for the government as a firefighter. So thinking about, but again, so he contracts out to a company. He's like licensed to do phlebotomy, right? Just with his job, his work. But he contracts out to a company, and they're basically almost like this broker for this. So I'm imagining you guys could, you know, fit into that same type of role, where it's like, oh, we know that we can service people anywhere they are with these 3 things or whatever, you know, your product offering is. And then going to, you know, these other guys where it's like, oh, your days off, you can do a half day and make, you know, what you would make normally from 2 days of work at this other job. But anyway, yeah, just brained up. I don't know.
Yep.
My quick take on it. So I like Cody because we've built a lot of stuff. I feel like whenever I hear marketplace, I'm like allergic a little bit. The way I would go about solving the problem would be by creating a directory of car mechanics. So I would actually think about how could you know, not everyone, but a lot of people have this feeling that you're getting screwed when you work with a car, you know, some car mechanic. Like, they're selling me more than I, you know, I don't really need to change those brake pads or whatever it is. So I think that I can think of like the leading place where I can go and look at reviews and ratings.
Totally.
Yeah, for car mechanic shops, and I think that opportunity is just huge. And I'd start with that and build the SEO juice, and then eventually go to where you want to build.
Okay. So in that avenue, you're I won't say cornering the market, but you're building a database of trusted car shops. From that standpoint.
Exactly. You're building the marketplace before building the marketplace, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge. You have to find one side of this, right? But so like my friend is building this company. It's called Finder's Fee. It's basically like a marketplace for people to go find luxury goods. And they have like, imagine like this army of people that like just go out. They're kind of just, have you seen like the luxury watch TikTok, like that whole category? So it's like, imagine those people, but in every category, like in cars and like private jets and like, I want to rent a yacht, that type of thing.
Right.
So for him, like his strategy was like, he basically owned TikTok, YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels. And he would be like, this person just made, you know, $2,000 by finding this car in this random location. Here's how he did it. He went to findersfee.com, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm trying to talk about here is you have to figure out some type of like which side of the marketplace you're going after, basically, from day one. Again, when I was working at this company called Rupa Health, we were a marketplace. We were technically a 3-sided marketplace, which is even gnarlier. But we had practitioners, we had patients, and we had the labs that we were working with, right? So we had when you're, you know, in that marketplace space, like you're basically having to service every one of those customers. And so for us, we saw that the path forward was like, okay, we're going to hyper focus on the practitioners and on the patients, and because they're like related and they were being underserved, so we could basically assist the practitioners with the patient management, and then we could make a better product for the practitioners. Then what that leads into is like, if you get enough practitioners on the platform, you suddenly have leverage with the labs that you didn't have previously. Like we couldn't go in and negotiate with them in the beginning, right? So for marketplaces, a lot of the times it's like, okay, how do I get leverage on one side of this marketplace, and then go and figure out that, you know, that other side with paid. For what you're talking about is probably going to be like, I think what Greg said is brilliant, of just like, this massive directory. There is no brand, right? Like there's no website that I would go to right now that would be like, measuring mechanics against each other, of like from on a trustworthiness basis. And that's a huge, I mean, first thing you do when you move to a new city, right, is like you reach out to somebody there, and who's your mechanic that you like, that like you trust currently, right?
Yeah.
And so
And
it's
that
like
was the key.
imagining how do I build that digital version of that. But anyway.
Yeah, no, that was the key that sport this. I remember going to a mechanic shop and wanted me to do something, and it turned out I could do it from YouTube in 10 minutes, and he was charging me $75, right? So that's how this came about from the get-go. So Greg, appreciate that sort of change in direction here in sort of how to address this.
No worries.
Yep.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we're gonna do one last one before we head out, and we're gonna bring up the lovely Joe. She's back.
Sweet.
Good afternoon.
Joe, how's it going?
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Cody. How are you?
Doing well. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me back up. I sent Greg, and it's just so serendipitous, and there's so much synergy within this community that Greg has built, because the ideas, like I sent over to Greg, someone literally was just kind of in the pocket in the same vein with some of the things. And so the one I sent you over to, but I think I'll talk about the first one, which was creating a bot. And just let me go over to my idea board so I can give you that.
You're our type of person, you got
Yes.
an idea board?
I definitely do.
Okay.
So because I'm such a YouTubeaholic, like my son is 13, you'll probably meet him one day. He's like, get off of YouTube, between yelling at the politicians and studying and researching. So what I've been doing, my phone is full, my iPad's full, my extra phone, because I take screenshots of the videos that are up next, because I might want to watch them, but I have Greg that I need to watch. I have Cody I need to watch before I go to these new people. And so I was trying to find a way to curate, by taking a picture, and then it can curate the name of the video, the YouTube channel, a brief description of the video, so you can have that curated list and go back to and have something to reference. So that was one thing that I was thinking about. It may not be useful for everyone, but for people with ADD or ADHD, it's good, because you're like, oh shoot, what was that guy's name that I wanted to watch? He was talking about something. And so instead of me having to take a picture and then going and writing it down or talking to my phone or my, so I was trying to figure out a way to build an app that, and I have 50 million domains. So one of mine is you can sell that. You can sell that.com, because I believe you can sell everything. I started my first business when I was 7 years old, and I hadn't stopped. I've been corporate and everything like that. And I have to just get my stuff together, because everyone globally knows me, but I don't have any real internet presence other than real estate, because that's been my sweet spot. But that was my one idea. What do you guys think? SIP or no?
G, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on this. So I don't know if you know this, Joe, but almost 15 years ago, I built a video discovery app on top of YouTube, and it became extremely popular. It was sold to StumbleUpon, which at the time was one of the largest social networks. And it was all about curation of video. Kind of looked like this. It was like TikTok before TikTok, but it would be like, it's Wednesday morning, what are you in the mood to watch? And it would hook up to your YouTube subscriptions. So it would know what you watched and what didn't watch, and you'd be able to save those videos, and then you'd be able to have these communities and group chats around these videos. And unfortunately, I think we sold too early. I think that the problems around video curation is huge. I think you can, if you picked different categories, right? Like curation for, like, there's probably hold on, let me mute you for a second because I hear myself. Cool. There's probably like curated videos for people who love startup ideas, curated videos for people who are growth experts, curated videos for people XYZ. I think you start with that. Like you start building email lists around and websites around curation of videos, and you do curated videos, and the way you curate videos is probably mostly through AI based on certain you know, creators, YouTubers who are like this, also people who like, Cody Schneider also like XYZ people. And then you basically say that, okay, once a video gets a certain amount of views, then it like pushes it into the system.
I think you could do it with categories too, just to piggyback off of that. So like if you go down like local real estate rabbit holes, you'll see this. It's actually crazy. There's like all these creators that are like, here's what I'm seeing in, Boise, Idaho for, XYZ, like, basically on the front lines, like what they're seeing, right? I know tons of realtors that all watch this and consume this, but it's like 15-minute long videos talking about how this relates to what the St. Louis Fed is saying and all this stuff. There's this company, or I'll drop it in the stream. It's called like podcastnotes.org. Basically how it functions is you like subscribe to these podcasts, and then they build you a custom newsletter based off of what you're subscribed to with that output. So I'm just imagining like you doing the same thing, where it's like they would be able to put in a YouTube channel, and oh, that's funny, we're there. So you put in like a YouTube channel, basically anytime that a video drops, like you just you take the transcript, you turn it into the key takeaways or whatever the learnings are, the insights are, and then for every person, it's like they basically have that output. But I think the small version of this, the small scale, is like probably just taking long form content media. How do I make that smaller, and then build these micro communities, or like the communities that already exist? How do I make a thing that basically services them and have it be the skim, but at the smaller scale? I think that's something that probably I just know a lot of professionals would want. Like I know, like, I mean, why did AI newsletters and all these other things take off? Like it's because of that, right? And I don't know. I think there's probably something in that of just like selling people basically back their time. You build an audience, and that turns into, okay, I sell a product to them, or whatever that ends up being, or it's just a subscription. Like Podcast Notes is a subscription. I think it's $99 a year. And you get like you basically can subscribe to whatever these shows are, and you get that recap on a weekly basis, right? They're 100% doing that with AI. It's 100% automated. I think that same thing could be done for you. And maybe it's just like the MVP of this that I would probably go after is like picking some type of category again, like maybe it's local real estate, maybe it's like local business news, maybe whatever that is that you have some type of knowledge in or some insight. And then seeing, okay, can I get people subscribed to this when it's like a recap of everything that's happening? And I mean, what's great with this too is you can piggyback off of these creators, and like, I mean, that's why you see these like clips channels blow up, right? That are like, oh, all they're doing is just repurposing all in podcasts, or like repurposing Huberman clips, and these channels goes because they're piggybacking off of the fame that these individuals already have. You could probably do this in the same way, where it's like, get a recap of these 10 different creators of like what happened in the last week. It's probably going into like the educational category though, rather than entertainment. Like I don't need a recap of a Mr. Beast video, but but somebody would probably want a recap of like, here's what we're seeing within like even local government in this area, of like a YouTuber that's talking about that, and with the recap that happens. So anyway.
Thank you, Cody. I think that kind of morphs into, and I have Billionaire Book Club. So I take, books like Crushing It or Jab, Jab, knock out and everything, or Gary Vee, whoever it might be. And I condense it, and I have videos where people have a subscription to. So they get these it's the Billionaire Book Club, and all the books are condensed with the finer points. And then with each one, they also get like, a spreadsheet or something, a checklist or something, or actionable tools. So do you think that I should kind of marry this into that, or would you keep it separate?
I think that's the bigger idea. What's that app, Greg? That's like the book app. That's it's audio books, but they're like 10-minute clips. I'm trying to find the name of it. What is it?
Blinkist?
Blinkist. Yeah. Blinkist. Yeah. I think it's the Blinkist idea, but just remixed for like a different category.
Yeah.
Like even if honestly, probably what you could do is like every YouTuber that's in, we'll say like the oil and gas space or some industry that's like, is like big money, and they're just on there talking about that whole industry, or even all the podcasts that are in that, everything that's in that. If you just had like a roundup email that was for that whole industry, I think that those, like, you could build, I know you could build a newsletter around in that space super quickly. Because again, what you're selling back to them is basically the espresso version, the distilled version of this long form content, which provides, you're saving them time, right? That's the whole concept of what you're selling there. That's the promise that you're making. And then you can do this at scale now with AI that you never could before. And then the phases of this is super easy, right? It's like a really manual version of it to begin with in a specific industry. And then that levels up into, okay, cool. Now you can select the different channels. And then, you basically you can kind of stair step up into, oh, now we have this whole custom thing where it's like you drop in a YouTube URL and we build you basically a custom newsletter about every video that dropped on that channel over the last week, with the 5 top insights from this or whatever that ends up being. But
yeah, I also think the name Billionaire Book Club, like that concept and the story behind it, is just so powerful. So I love that idea. Joe, thanks for coming up.
Thank you guys again for having me. Appreciate you.
See you soon.
See you, Joe.
All right, Cody, you've been kind. This is it, everyone. It's been real. What do you?
How long you been on here right now?
Almost 2 hours.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, dude, it literally flies by.
Totally. I've been so fun. I think I'm gonna take the yesterday one and just chop it up, because I'd guess bail on stuff. This is honestly such a fun segment, and just like have people like pop in, like friends
Totally.
that are like, I don't know, they come in for like 30 minutes and just give their insight and then bounce out. I just, it's almost like talk radio in this weird way.
Yeah. I was thinking of maybe doing it for like 8 hours, like literally pick like a Wednesday and be like, all right, all day.
Yeah,
I'm
and then
just
just
gonna
have like scheduled segments to be like, all right, now we're having blah 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 on. They're here from the top of the hour until the end. Yeah, that would be super funny. What you could do probably too is then have those people like cross promoted across their socials. So it's like, yo, I'm joining Greg's live stream at 9 to 10. Come. Yeah. Anyways, super interesting. This whole idea and concept is just really, because a lot of the times too, it's like, how do you get people that have like a lot of experience to think about these ideas, or like, I'm like obsessed right now with this YouTube thumbnail thing that we talked about yesterday. I think that's such a good business idea. And like, I never would have thought of that, right? Unless we talked to, was it Yash? I think his name was.
Yeah. He was cool.
Stuff like that. He was super, dude.
Yeah. For people who didn't listen to that, you should really just rewatch that segment. Probably about 2 hours in. Yash, that guy was top shelf.
100%. Just how he's thinking about it is super interesting. Like taking a business model that already exists and applying it in a different place. Like that's actually what really good entrepreneurs do, is they just like they cross over between these different categories with the knowledge that they've acquired from some other thing, or they're just taking something that somebody's done before them and like turning it into something new. So,
and he was young. How old was he?
I have no idea. They're I don't know. They're just killers out there like that now, though. They like stumbled in a Discord community and they were running like casinos on like World of Warcraft or whatever, and they're like, oh, now I'm gonna do this because it's real money, like.
He was anywhere between 18 and 38.
100%. I love it.
All right.
Anyway,
later,
man.
Take care. Homie. There you have it. Another live stream. That was fun. Thank you for joining. It's been real. If you enjoyed this, of course, you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can go to gregeisenberg.com and subscribe to my email newsletter. You'll get weekly sort of frameworks on how to win on the internet. And then for people who think about the ACP funnel, you can just go to, or interested in the ACP funnel, just go to communityempire.co. And there's a free course you could just grab and talks more about that. So there you have it, folks. It's been real. Later.